What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about signs that you are a Canadian. That's right, Canadians. If you think you're gonna just travel in America, keep a low profile, stay undercover, not for long, not after this. We're gonna be able to spot you with these tips. We're gonna go, hey, you're a Canadian, I can tell. And you're gonna say, how do you know? And we'll say, well, I learned about how to spot Canadians on the internet. And you'll say, that's weird. Get away from me. And I'll say, okay, fair enough. But honestly, this sounded like a very fun topic to take a look at. From what I've heard, we Americans are very easy to spot in the wild because of our behaviors, our loudness, where we make ourselves known kind of easily from what I've heard. So today, I thought it would be fun to take a look at what are subtle signs that someone is Canadian. Subtle signs, not so obvious. So let's take a look at some of the top answers here. Starting with, they stay away from the geese. yeah, okay. Because of Canadian geese. Okay, I've heard about this phenomenon. I know about this. Canadian geese are not like our geese here in America for some reason. Canadian geese are mean. Sir, I believe you mean cobra chickens. That's right, cobra chickens. Canadian geese. They hiss at you, they bite you, they're just mean. And Canadians know to stay away from them, which is a very different behavior than what Americans do. Like, I have never in my entire little American life ever thought to be scared of a goose. Or, most Americans want to go up to the geese and give them some bread or something. And that's not crazy or dangerous. Americans do not have a fear of the geese. If you see someone in America running at full sprint away from geese, it's probably a Canadian. That actually actually is a good one. That's funny. Do you ever have an older sibling tell you to go pet one? They don't have teeth, so it's like a pinch. A pinch. Geese pinching you. Okay, let's see what else we have here. If you say washroom instead of bathroom or restroom, washroom. Canadians say washroom. How proper, how very proper. I have never, yeah, this is absolutely true. I've never heard an American ever say the word washroom. Although, strangely, I think I would know what you mean if you said washroom. Sounds sort of like a British thing, or it sounds very proper or almost fancy. I'm going to the washroom. Oh, you're going to wash yourself. I'm just in there going to the bathroom. I'm going in there using the toilet. And Canadians are like, where is the washroom? It just sounds so much nicer. We say bathroom. We say restroom sometimes, for sure. You speak like a real Canadian. Well done. Washroom would be a huge one. And I don't even know if Canadians know that Americans, we don't say that at all, ever. And it does stick out to us. And we'd probably just think you're fancy. so, so go ahead. It's the most correct. Not all bathrooms have baths. No one's taking a nap in the restroom. Almost no one. I mean, sometimes, when I get tired, I guess washroom makes sense. Not everyone is washing between you and me. Sometimes the people, not everyone is washing their hands, if we're being real technical here. When I first moved to the US, I had people quite literally dumbfounded, trying to understand what I meant when I was asking for the washroom. I had no idea it was a Canadian thing. Exactly, that's funny. Although I know the translation now. I speak Canadian. I know I know the translation, American Canadian translation of washroom. I think a lot of Americans would be able to put it together, but some would be confused. Yeah, some would be confused. When I think about it, that's true. What else do we have here? How to spot a Canadian. Signs that you're Canadian is mixed usage of imperial and metric system. Yes. Yes, this is so confusing to me. I'm not a big advocate of our imperial system, but at least we stick to it. We stick to it. We're the only ones who use it, and at least we stick to it. Canadians kind of use it, right? 6 feet tall, 5 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. 100 kilometers an hour. Kilometers. What the? Who knows what a kilometer is? Kilometers. I think Canadians use liters. Liters, not gallons, right? 2 pounds of chicken, but you use pounds. Do you ever use grams though? You forgot we measure distance and the amount of time it takes to get there. If it's 200 kilometers away, we'll say 2 hours away. Yeah, that's what Americans do as well. We generally assume a mile like takes a minute. Instead of 60 miles, I'll say like, oh, that's 60 minutes away. So that's kind of common in America. But the use of some of the metric system in Canada, I like it. I almost encourage Canada to just lean into it. Just go metric. It makes the most sense. It's scientific. Everything is counted in like multiples of 10. I'm very jealous of that. But I don't know. Canada is like a good in between, I guess. But also confusing. Which things are metric and which aren't. Anyway, what else? Signs that you are Canadian is mentioning the house hippo. If they know, they know. The house hippo. The freaking house hippo. This is... Thank goodness. Very early on in this channel, I watched some video about Canadian commercials. And it had the house hippo. Thank goodness. Because I would be so confused by all these references to the house hippo. This is a tiny hippo. This is like a Canadian public service announcement that was trying to advertise getting a house hippo, which is a tiny little hippo that you keep at home like a pet. And I still don't know if they're real or not. What am I saying? They're definitely real. 100% real. The commercial made them seem so real. Tears. I know, but seriously, when you see the commercial, it was designed to make you think that these house hippos are real. House hippos are not a thing in America. The vast majority of Americans, basically all Americans, have never heard of a house hippo. I had to look it up on YouTube. So if anyone ever mentioned a house hippo, I would 1000% know they're Canadian. That is for sure. That's a good one. That is a subtle sign that you're Canadian. If you talk about the house hippo. If you talk about it being like 15 degrees Celsius, if you mention the word Celsius or house hippo, my head is going to snap. My neck is going to snap over to you and lock eyes and be like, Canadian. And then you just have to run. Just and I won't blame you. Canadians, they have non-legal tender in their toolbox. What? Non-legal tender in their toolbox. What does this mean? I'm really racking my brain here. This might be such a Canadian reference that I just don't get it. Like, non-legal tender? Like, we're talking about bills? Canadian bills? That's legal tender. That'd be Canadian money. Is there any comments here that clarify this? I hear a stash of those Canadian Tire dollars are worth more than the ones with the Queen on them. Canadian Tire dollars? What is a Canadian Tire dollar? I've heard of Canadian Tire. There's Canadian Tire dollars? Okay, can you only spend them at Canadian Tire? Is Canadian Tire so popular, so big in the Canadian economy? There's a Canadian Tire dollar? Is Canadian Tire its own, like, country? Its own entity? Its own government? Has its own money? Okay, I'm a little confused. There's Canadian Tire dollars. You might find them in your toolbox. Like if you buy tools at Canadian Tire. Okay. I think I kind of get that. Am I on the right track there? If you had a Canadian Tire dollar, like you are the most Canadian of Canadians, that would definitely be a big red flag. Okay. That is not a subtle sign that you're Canadian. That's an obvious sign. you're walking around with Canadian Tire dollars. What else do we have? Signs that you're Canadian. Ask them what a copay is. Oh, they'll have no idea what you're talking about. Aha! Oh, wow. Oh, this one kind of stings. Oh, this one kind of hurts. Because Canadian healthcare is paid for by the government in Canadian tax dollars. You don't have to worry about copays. Are there even copays in Canada? I feel like you can get some forms of health insurance in Canada. What a life. What a wonderful life. Canadians, never underappreciate your life that does not have co-pays. This is a co-payment you have to make with some of your healthcare bills, where your insurance is paying for some of the bill, and you are paying for some of the bill, otherwise known as a co-pay, before your insurance kicks in. I had to Google it. I got a laugh from this one. Yeah, you guys don't share your expenses with multi-billion-dollar insurance companies? just us? Just us Americans? Okay. I thought that was normal. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh man, that one hurts. Yeah, if someone didn't know what a copay was, that would be an alarm bell. I'd be like, you're not from around here. You might not be Canadian. There's other places around the world that have universal types of healthcare. Be like, you're not from around here, are you? Do you have any Canadian Tire dollars on you by chance? And then I'd get to the bottom of it. Uh, what else? Subtle signs that you are a Canadian. If you were raised in Canada, you really do say sorry a lot. Or not sorry, sorry. Right? Am I doing that correctly? It's to the point that they put into law saying sorry is not an admission of guilt. Yes, this is a good one. This is like a sort of a stereotype that Americans have of Canadians, that Canadians are very polite. Canadians will say sorry, or more properly, sorry. That would really do it. If you're, for many reasons, many layers, if you say sorry, you are immediately going to be branded Canadian. If you're not, you are officially becoming a Canadian if you utter the word sorry. Because Americans don't apologize for stuff very often, for one thing. From what I understand, in Canada, sorry is just like a casual thing. Like if you bump into someone, it's like, oh, sorry, and then you both go about your day. It's not that big a deal. And it's actually a very commonly used word to be polite. Whereas in America, it's like, if you say sorry, you have really messed up. You must feel guilty. Because most Americans, I don't even know what we say. Like, probably excuse me, which is funny because that almost like implies that you did something wrong. Like if I bump into you and I'm like, excuse me, I can see where that come across as rude a bit, but it's just normal here. We definitely don't say sorry that much. So if someone says sorry, oh, immediately everyone is going to look at you and be like, what did they just say? What was that word? I've never heard that word before. Had to explain to people that sorry is just Canadian for excuse me. Oh yeah, there we go. Literally. Sorry in Canada is like excuse me here. Right. It's also sometimes just an acknowledgement that the situation sucks. Like you're freezing cold, waiting for the bus, and you're just like, sorry. Who are you even sorry to? You're just sorry for the situation. Okay. What else do we have here? Signs that you are a Canadian. So this says, in this thread are people who have never met Canadians answering with Canadian stereotypes. Really, are these, so far in this discussion, are these stereotypes? Like, for Canadians watching, do you think these are true, like, accurate assessments of genuine behaviors Canadians would do? Or do you think these are stereotypes and overblown a bit? I'm willing to admit that could be true. But let's keep going. That's a good thought, but let's keep going. What are stereotypes or not? What are the signs that you're Canadian? When they say grade 7 instead of 7th grade. Yes, Yes, absolutely. Fantastic one. I didn't even think of this. Yes, here in America, we say seventh grade. Oh, they're going into the sixth grade. If you said grade seven, if you said grade seven, I'd be like, what are you, from Harry Potter? Like, are you heading to potions class? Grade seven? That again sounds like a British kind of thing. But that's a Canadian thing, huh? You say grade seven, grade two, we say first grade. I did not know that. That's a very obvious indicator that you are Canadian or British. I think other people around the world might say it like that, but we say like ninth grade. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. If you say grade seven, yes, that definitely would be a subtle sign that you're Canadian. And most Americans would maybe glance over it because we understand what that means. Grade seven. I think a lot of Americans would be like, that's a interesting way to say it, but they might not let you know. They might just think like, oh, that's an interesting way to say that, but whatever. Because we understand what grade seven means. You know, it makes enough sense. We just don't say it like that. Also, if you say grade 9, 10, 11, 12, because here we say freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. We'll say like 11th grade, or we'll say junior year. But in Canada, it's always grade 11. Ah, interesting. Very interesting. These are good. These are good ones. Let's keep going. Signs that you're Canadian when they're not your buddy, guy. Is this a reference to something? I feel like it is. Like, I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, pal. I'm not your pal, friend. I'm not your friend, guy. Is this is this like what a Canadian argument looks like? I don't know what this is from, but I feel like I've heard that before. How to spot a Canadian? They all know what May long means. May long? Canadians know what May long means. I've never heard of this. What is this? What is this? This sounds like some kind of secret. 100% chance of rain? May? Like the month of May is long? Sometimes it snows instead? What is this? None of this. I actually don't know what May long means. Is it another name for May 2-4? 2-4, like beer? Like May beer? Like you need a beer? Crack open a beer in the month of May? Is this at all accurate? It is another name for May 2-4. It's just short for May long weekend? Oh, I'm still so confused. I gotta keep going down this rabbit hole. Makes sense, I've never heard it called that. Okay. It's another name for May 2-4. I thought a 2-4 was like alcohol, like beer. Am I totally on the wrong track here? It's just short for May long. Okay, it's short for May long weekend. May long. It's the long weekend in May because of Victoria Day? Okay, I think I actually discovered what this is. Never heard of May 2-4. Me neither. What is that then? All right. I would definitely like take notice if someone was like, "Oh, May long, May 2-4, Canadian Tire dollars." I'd be like, "What? I think you might be Canadian." These are good. These are very good. These are very obscure, which I like. This is like stuff only Canadians would know. And now the secrets are out. Let's look at a couple more here. Sorry. Yes, this is like the number one Americans would look for. If you pronounce it sorry instead of sorry, because, you know, we just love the way we say sorry. Sorry for that. It's got a little more bite to it. Sorry. Sorry sounds so much more polite. Like, I don't know if Canadians know that, but somehow sorry just sounds so much more innocent and polite. Don't forget to say oop before you say sorry. Sorry. Oh, you're passing by someone. Scooching by. Oh, I got scooch by. Oop. Oh, sorry. You know, kind of like that at the grocery store. They refer to mac and cheese as Kraft Dinner. Right. Right. Kraft Dinner. That's an interesting difference too. Do Canadians know what the word mac and cheese means? Or is mac and cheese a type of Kraft Dinner? Here, Kraft is just a brand. Kraft Dinner means nothing to us. But in Canada, I'm pretty sure the boxes themselves say Kraft Dinner instead of mac and cheese. Ours say like Kraft mac and cheese. Anyway, yes, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is a subtle one. If someone said Kraft Dinner, I would now know they're definitely Canadian. And Americans would have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're saying. Um, in August, 10 degrees is freezing, yet in April, 10 degrees is comfortable t shirt weather. Just depends on what time of year it is. Even if it's cold, but in the summer or spring, Canadians just get in the t shirt and shorts out of principle. But I think with that one, that's a good place to stop. This was quite good. This was quite good. I enjoyed this, and this taught me, I think, there are actually a lot of kind of subtle indicators that you are a Canadian. If you do any of these things, which I'm guessing a fair amount of Canadians do one of these things at least, and then your cover is going to be blown. Or at least any Americans who ever look at this discussion here, which includes me now. I can now spot a Canadian a mile away. Those Canadian Tire dollars. Anyway, I enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these signs that you're a Canadian or any other signs that you might be a Canadian. That would be fun to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.